Now broadcasting the Dr. Nilda Business Foresight Show, positioning your business with strategies for an extraordinary future. Dr. Nilda features expert guests from diverse backgrounds to bring you their stories and strategies that have helped them reach their success. The diversity in industries gives you that panoramic view from an array of industries. They are innovators, thought leaders, trendsetters, and strategists. Here, Dr. Nilda reveals strategies that will position you to be on the cutting edge and be able to do what you love with the people you like, making the profits you want to live the lifestyle that you have dreamed of. And now, here's your host, Dr. Nilda Perez.
Hello and welcome back to the Dr. Nilda Business Foresight Show. And today I have a very special guest, but also with me I have my co-host Rachel Calderon. Say hello, Rachel.
Hi, how are you?
Okay. So I want to, we have a very special guest he's here, and today is his, we're in morning, but he's afternoon because he's all the way from Dublin, Ireland. Okay, so let me tell you about Joseph. Joseph Dalton is an exceptional business person with a vast experience in sales and marketing, both in Ireland and abroad. Joseph is a popular weekly radio show host in Dublin, Ireland, which is called Breakthrough Brands, where he speaks to business owners about what makes them tick and how they got started in business. So he's not just a businessman, but he also has a live radio show. So I want to welcome you, Joseph. How are you?
Ladies, thank you for having me on the show. Yes. It's early morning where you are, and it's afternoon here. So we're halfway through the day.
Oh, okay. And we're just getting started.
So
let us know what the mistakes were so that we can not, we can avoid those, right? Since we still have enough time.
Yes, that's true. That's true. We're done here.
So Ireland is one of those places on my bucket list, which I hope to make it to one day. And we're looking forward to possibly next year making it over to Ireland and
2018. We're working on that.
Right.
Working on that. When you are, you have to promise me that you'll get in touch and we'll meet you and greet you and we'll show you some of the finest sites in Dublin.
Oh, fantastic. So we have a tour guide. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm quite fascinated by what you do. I know Rachel is the marketer in this team, and she's been doing a phenomenal job. But I also know that you also do marketing, but you couple your marketing with sales. So tell me a little bit about that. How do you do that merger? Because usually, and I know in the States, what I've always known is the marketing team is a marketing team, and then there's the sales team, and never the twain shall meet. So they kind of, it's almost like a little rivalry. But you've been able to marry them both, and tell me a little bit about that. How does that work?
Yes, we marry them, and the reason being because one doesn't succeed without the other. The marketing team require the sales and the sales require marketing. And we talk about inbound marketing and outbound marketing, and everyone has their opinion on it. But what I like to call it is active marketing. The marketing is there to make the person aware of the product. Now you have to understand when someone sees or knows your product, their mind, they might think of something totally different of what you're selling or providing. So the marketing nurtures that for that person so the salesperson can have that call.
Okay. So when you come into a company and you're teaching a company about, you come in with the merger, how do you actually get these teams to work together?
Really, what we initially do is have a one-to-one conversation with all the managers in the business. So we'll sit down, discuss what they want, what they feel, and what they need within the business. From there, we'll step back and we'll devise a bespoke product that will help them work as a team together. So, and you are right, a lot of companies out there, the marketing team want to go one route and the sales team want to go a different route. But reality, it's all about making money. It's about getting that in front of that customer, closing that deal so the company can survive. Without sales, a company has nothing. So that's what we tell them. And from there, we develop a process on it.
Okay. See, I find that interesting. And you know what? I didn't even realize, listening to you today, I didn't even realize that I was doing that myself. I mean, I do realize it, but I didn't recognize that I was actually, that most companies separate the two.
Yeah.
But I actually incorporate the two myself. Yeah. I just recognize that a lot of marketers out there do that. And it's kind of hard, not to merge the two together, because you need to. Why do you think that is an issue?
Ego.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people out there, they see that. Like, let me just step back a bit. There's a difference between marketing, as in direct marketing, and branding. If say what's your customer base? Is it small SMEs, or is it large corporate companies that you mainly deal with, or your audience? Which would it be?
Oh, our audience is primarily small business.
Small business, yeah.
So small businesses, what I say to small business owners is, one, a lot of them, when they come into the marketplace, they want to do branding, and all they want to do is spend their money on branding and get their name out there. Branding can take an awful lot of time to actually reach the goal and get in front of the client. So I tell them what they should do is do strategy marketing. They should do active direct marketing, getting in front of the people, using the marketing to drive that person to understand who they are. But then the sales team knows who they've been targeting, and then pick up the phone to make that call, or send that text, or drop that email. Because no one knows you exist. No one knows what your business is about until you initially make contact with them.
Exactly. Now, with that being said about, phone, the phone, I know that it's important, and a lot of people now are using a lot of, artificial intelligence software to almost like replace the sales portion. And I have found that is actually impossible. You really should, I mean, it's good to kind of have that as a backup, but not fully. So why is the phone still so important to making sales? I know the answer, I know the answer, but you tell us, share with our audience.
Communication. A lot of companies out there's a lot of snake oil merchants who say, you don't need to make sales anymore. Buy my gadget, go online, look at this, and you will have hundreds of leads in the next week or month. Just do it, and people will sign up to this software and this product and wonder why they're not making any sales. Because reality, people still need to have a conversation with you to make a sale. Now, if you're selling a small product for €5 or €10, okay, we'll buy that online. But if you're selling a product for 5,000, 10,000, or up to 150,000, you need to have a conversation with people. And with all the gadgets that we have out there, it's still the psychology of the mind, how people work. I just want to show you something, right? See this book here. Can you see this book here?
The New Psychology of Persuasion. Yes. Okay.
This was published in 1967. Okay. And this book, you can see, I use it all the time. It's falling apart on me. This book opened my eyes to how we sell and how the mind thinks. Still, with all the years, people say, old selling ways don't work. It doesn't work. It still works. Old bad selling ways don't work. But there's still the psychology of the mind. People need to speak to people. So your marketing, in my opinion, I call it active marketing. So active marketing is you do the blogs, you write the letters, you post on social media, and that's only making the person go, I exist. Hello, I'm out here. And then from there, you get your target list of all the people, companies that you want to contact as well. And then you get the phone, or you get your email, or you write your letter, and you send it out to them. Now, one of the theories that we're finding works quite well. Who writes letters anymore? Who sends post anymore? How many letters do you get in, unless it's a bill from somebody?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yep.
absolutely. And even the bills are becoming automated.
Yes. So when we get a letter in the post, we kind of go, that's interesting. My psychology, my mind is going, that's interesting. Who sent me this? So what we're doing now, we're picking a list of companies that we want to deal with. And I suggest that your clients do this. So they get their database, they find the name, they look on LinkedIn, all the people, they join with them on Facebook or whatever it may be. And then they write a letter about their business. And then they fold that letter and handwrite the envelope and send that letter to the person. And that person will get it and it's all about my business and why I am. And then 2 weeks later, send them another letter saying, hi, did you get my first letter? And on each letter, you'll have a call to action, driving them to your website or driving to a blog or so on. So and also you'll have maybe on your website a landing page where they can sign up for an ebook or some free gift from yourself. But the end result is 3-4 weeks down the road, you then pick up the phone because that person knows you because of the letters that they've received from you. So It's not a cold call. And there's another thing. I know I'm going on. Stop calling them cold calls. There's initially, and stop calling people gatekeepers as well. You're already, before you even get into the process,
Right.
putting up all negative thoughts. So when you pick up the phone and speak to that person, they'll go, I know that name from somewhere. Maybe I don't know where it's from, but yeah, I'll take the call. And we're finding when we do this, the rate of people taking our calls has improved by about 20%.
You know,
Wow.
I totally believe that, because I have found, and I actually I have not written a letter in a very long time because we have email.
Yes.
But I will tell you this, for Christmas time, I made sure that for every client and anyone that we had any contact with, whether they were clients of ours, potential clients, passerbys, whatever, and I had their address, I made sure that I sent them a Christmas card. Do you know the amount of people that responded? They were like, they actually called me, they emailed me, they were just like, wow.
Yeah.
So
Because
I know that we left an impression on them, and that was one of my marketing strategies, to make sure that I still have that high touch from a distance, but still high touch.
That's what it is, because we got involved with technology and we all believed that this was the answer, and people forgot about the human nature of who we are. We like gifts. We like to be spoken to. We like to be listened to. And this is the part that we all forgot when we took on the internet and we took on email. Like it drives me mad and we all do it when you speak to someone, they go, "Oh, drop me an email to remind me." Now, we do it to remind you, but sometimes when you're speaking to people, it's a go away. "Oh, drop me an email." It's an excuse just to get them out of the way.
Right.
And a lot of people are fearful of the phone. So when I speak to clients and they go, "Right, you're going to use the phone," and they go, "Oh my God, I use the phone." So what I look at first is the mindset. If you don't have the proper mindset, you're starting the job all wrong. So the phone, why do people not cold call? The reason why they don't cold call, and this is my own opinion, is because by not calling the prospect, it's still a prospect. Because they fear when they call the prospect, they might say no, and it's no longer a prospect. So they've one less prospect in their kit. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And you know what? And I have found that I pick up the phone and I'm like, what's the worst that can happen? They say no, I just kind of keep going. There are still so many more prospects out there.
Yes. And people always say fear of failure, but I also think people are fearful of success, because they if someone says yes, what do they have to do as well? So you have to, when you're picking up the phone, I always say to my clients, before you make that call, I say, have a script, okay? You don't need to read it off. Mm-hmm. Just know that you have that these are this is the conversations you want to have with the person. And the script is also very good, that in case you forget something in the conversation, you can add later. So 10 minutes every morning before you make your cold calls, read the script out loud. Read it 4 or 5 times. Get into that comfortable feeling. Get into that positive feeling that this is how it's going to go. Block off the hour, switch off the phone, everything else on your phone, and then make that call. But make sure that a couple of times before you make it, read the script, get into the momentum, and then make the calls. When you have one successful call, what happens? You have another successful call, and then you have another. And the reason why it's a thought leads to action, and action leads to results. And when you get into a positive momentum, the people feel that on the other side, and then the ball rolls.
Okay, fantastic.
Yes.
So, because I come, again, my original background, I have several backgrounds, as you can see, but one of them is that I'm a therapist. And the one thing I know is that humans crave human interaction, unlike animals, unlike anybody else. And or anything else that's created, or any living organism. They pretty much can function on their own. But humans, we need to have human interaction.
Yeah.
What they're trying to, I want to say, almost force together is this high tech, almost disconnection with the human being. And the reality is that we're doing that, and yet we don't like to be approached that way. We want to be able to pick up a phone, and the most frustrating thing is to pick up a phone and call and get an automated system, no matter how friendly it is. Hello, how are you today? You're like, no, right? You want to have somebody there that's going to hear you out. And one of the things that I'm notorious for is picking up the phone, and if I'm having a problem, I'm like, look, I'm a little frustrated, so I'm going to vent here a little bit. And I'm going to vent to you, although I know this is not your fault, but I'm going to vent to you because you're on the other side, and I just need to vent, so don't take it personal. Yeah. And it really kind of, it puts that ease, and they're like, they have their guard down, they'll just hear me out. And then they're like, okay, so here's how I can help you, or this is what you can do next. But to be able to have that person is, I tell you, it's amazing. And it just, volumes, it just decreases your anxiety by volumes.
Okay, here's one, okay? Mm-hmm. How many times have you gone on an email and answered someone, and then they come back to you and they answer, and those string of emails last a whole day, where you could have just picked up the phone, spoke to that person in 5 minutes, and that whole day of string of emails would have been eliminated, and you would have had more time for yourself or for other products that you're doing.
Absolutely, and that's what I do. I said, look, I'm old-fashioned. I need to, once we're texting back and forth several times, I realize it's time for a phone call. It's time for human interaction.
Yes.
But it's also, if you look at, say, a company, and a small company that sets up a business, and this guy, he's bought the office, or he's bought the laptop, and he's working from home, or wherever it may be, and he's sitting there and he's going, right, I've got the product and I've got everything, and I bought this lovely software that's going to automate everything. And then he's there going, why am I not doing any business? What's happening to my business? Then he has the emotional upset of why things are going wrong. Because in all the talk and all the process that we all talk about make sales, but no one really shows a lot of people how to make a sale. We talk about handling objections, we talk about sales, we talk about prospecting, but we don't actually talk about step-by-step process from the time that you have that thought to make the sale to closing it. What are the sections that one does along that route? Mm-hmm. Who shows anyone that nowadays?
Right. Mm-hmm. So with that, here's a question. One of the things that you say is that the person that's actually doing the selling really needs to believe in the product. Mm-hmm. Why do you think this is crucial?
I believe it's because people can smell fear, and people can smell BS. And if you are selling a product that you truly believe in, it comes across. It oozes through. So what you're talking about, believing in the product at the start, but I also believe that people have to, before they get into sales or into a business, they have to look at their own, I was going to say mental state, but it's their own way of how they feel. Is there anything in the past that they feel is holding them back? Are they very judgmental towards other people as well? And a lot of people are. I've learned to wipe my past clean, and I don't judge anybody at all. And I feel that makes me a better person. And in doing that, I believe that it helps me better in my sales process, because I believe the biggest thing that the biggest thing that a salesperson should have is empathy, no matter what it is.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Does that answer your question, or did I go slightly off?
No. That answers the question perfectly, actually. So, so even more than believing in the actual product is believing that what you're servicing them with, what you're selling them, is actually going to help them. Is that?
It's helping the person. You don't sell. You never think of the money. Never think of the score on the board. Think of, how am I helping this person? Because when you help someone, they remember that you helped them, and they'll tell other people. It's providing a service. There's no trickery, or there's no, magic in it. It's just be honest.
Exactly. And giving and also giving the individual what they need and want. So it's not selling them, for the money, but you're actually helping them, because whatever it is that you're selling is something that's going to improve the quality of their life in some way. Would that be accurate?
Yes, it's we all talk about needs and wants, and we talk about benefits. Like, someone might come into you and they want something, but they need something else, what they really need. So it's fact finding, it's asking those questions, probing the person, and finding out what we call it their DBM, their dominating buying mode, why they want to buy the product. So salesperson should listen, ask questions, listen, ask questions, listen, and from there, they'll make a sale.
Okay.
So would you say that this is how they can grow their business and increase their sales, based on what you're talking about today, with the high touch, high tech, and also believing in the products and how they can, help others, focusing on more helping others? Is this how you would consider growing?
Yes, but also it starts with believing in themselves, and then it's believing in the product. And I've always believed, if you want to find out how someone is successful in sales, study them and replicate it. And that's where I showed you that book there, which was bought back again in 1967. I have another book, which is my Bible as well. It was from Lee the Boy, and that was published in it's Everyone Sells. That was published in the late 70s. And I read all the time. I'm studying masters in the field, trying to understand what they're doing, what we used to do in the past, and tweaking it to make it into a system that works. So let's go into active marketing, reaching out to the people, nurturing. How are you? Sending out those letters, getting into that comfortable conversation, picking up the phone, the email, the text, and then there's a sales process. And the sales process that I use it's called the 5 C's, and this breaks it down. So in the 5 C's, it's contact. So in contact, you're looking at prospecting, blueprinting, and following up. Then you're categorizing, you're showing them proof, you're analyzing where they are, and then you're going into products, features, and benefits. And many people talk about products, features, and benefits when you're selling them. I use an example we used to use years ago, and it was an airbag is a feature. And the benefit of an airbag, it explodes on impact, correct? The real benefit is when it explodes on impact, it saves your life. Feature, benefit and real benefit. And the only way you find them out is by asking those questions relating to the person. We learned as well, we teach as well to watch people's body language. So we know if we're talking about a product or our clients are talking about a product and their prospect, their eyes start to spin, they switch off. And you know this when you're talking to people.
Right.
You know what you're talking about, they're not interested in. So you're talking about the wrong feature. So you have to draw back, you watch the eyes go, ooh, okay, and then come back and talk about what they have. And then you get into, you know, following in their negative, if they find any objections about it or what they don't find. So we ask questions. Here's one as being a psychologist. People hate to think, yes?
Yes.
I don't believe they hate to think. I believe that they're conditioned not to think. And I think that's the biggest problem.
But they love to give their opinions.
Oh, yes.
True.
So never ask someone what they think of something. Always ask them what their opinion is. And that's part of the sales process as well.
Okay. Fantastic. I like it. That
makes sense. That makes sense.
What would be the takeaway? What is the one thing that, well, this is a double question. One of them is, what is the takeaway? And secondly, where do you actually see sales in the future? Because the one huge push, and this is, so many companies are so involved in this, and that's that artificial intelligence. Everything has to be in a computer. They're looking to pretty much minimize as many salespeople, as many people as possible, and really just make it a computerized process. What is the future of this as you see it? Where do you see it going?
I think that, you know, when we went to the banks and they were saying they were installing these machines because we didn't have to queue up anymore, and these machines will eliminate queuing up. And then we go into a bank and we queue up. You go into a supermarket and over here you now have tills where self-service. So we're losing that communication. What I think is going to happen is people are going to get sick of all this and want to start having human reaction again. It's like a lot of companies were doing, as you said, press 1, press 2, press 3, and people were getting tired of that. And a lot of companies now are looking to get people, have a voice on the other end to talk to people about it. So where do I think artificial intelligence will go? I think artificial intelligence will learn so much that it won't be able to learn anything else again, and it'll just switch off. And people will just want to talk to humans again.
Excellent. I love that.
I completely agree with that statement, because I know that artificial intelligence should be a substitute, but not a takeover. It never will be able to be a takeover, because again, as you stated earlier, we need that human touch. We need to hear, we need to speak. And when you need to solve a problem and you're frustrated, an automated system does not do that.
No.
It only has so much intelligence, and it only has the intelligence that one human has put into that precise software, but you know, again, we can run into an array of problems. So the problems can be.
They don't have empathy.
And
they don't have empathy, and they will not be able to solve every single problem. And, you know, it's not that a human being will, but to help, to have them hear you out, to have them sell you something and have them tell you exactly why. And it's not an automated system, that you're going to need that. I know I will need that. And I'm sure this is it's human behavior. We want to have that interaction. We need to have it in sales. We need to have it in marketing. We need to have it. We want to be sold, and we want to be sold by a human being. And we want to know more from that human being.
Yes, it's like when you go to buy a carpet, or you go to buy a car, or you go to buy something, you walk into a store and there's a genuine person there talking to you and you're engaged. You feel good about it. You feel good about yourself. And that's what it's about. It's about just feeling good, enjoying life. It's not meant to be crazy. It's not meant to be completely mad. We're here to have fun, and why not talk to people and on the way.
And it's so funny that you say that, because you did made a statement that we love to give our own opinions, and sometimes it's not necessarily to solve the problem; it's just to hear you out.
Yes.
Just sometimes you can be frustrated on the phone, and they hear you out, and you're like, oh man, that felt good, and then it's like almost like your own. You start to process it, because I know we do this a lot, Dr. Nilda and I. We process things, and we'll speak about it and speak about it and speak about it. And then all of a sudden we're like, okay, it's not a problem anymore. Boom, done.
Yeah. And sometimes it's not even about the frustration. And especially when it comes to sales, it's not about the frustration. It's about figuring out and coming up with a solution. I think that's, it's not even about a problem, but it's about, wow, I felt good about that sale, and I like that person. This is great. And you walk away feeling good. And that's what it's about.
One thing, pick up the phone.
That's so true.
Speak to people. That's what it's about. Pick up the phone and speak to people. The more people you speak to, the more your business will grow. It's not going to grow sitting in a room with a laptop on your lap.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I love that statement.
So, Joseph, I want to thank you so much we took your afternoon, and I want to thank you so much for being on the show. I understand this is an inconvenience, and because it's in the middle of your day, but I want to thank you because this was really important. And I think for people, there's a lot of small companies that are going the 100% AI way, and there's also the problem of their sales and their marketing teams not working together, or they separate them, and oftentimes they may not. If it's a small company, they've outsourced and they don't even know each other. So I think it's very important. I really love this topic. I think it's very important to our audience, and I want to thank you for that. And I look forward to having you back again in the very near future.
Ladies, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me on your show, and hopefully you'll come on our show in sometime in 2018, especially when you come to Dublin.
Oh, yes.
Okay. All right, then. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. And this ends this segment of the Dr. Nilda Business Foresight Show. I want to thank you guys for being here. We have even more fascinating guests. And remember, we are featuring a lot of futurists and a lot of people who are doing amazing things that you could connect with. So we look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Foresight Strategy Show. You can hear host Dr. Nilda, co-host Rachel with featured guests every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook Live or anytime on demand. Visit www.drnildaperez.com/show. For more information, sign up to our Foresight Strategies Insider newsletter, a $10 value for free at www.drnildaperez.com/newsletter.